Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Mzansi Affairs. It's yet another Tuesday and a beautiful Tuesday and a beautiful morning. I hope everyone at home, they're having a very good morning as we are also having a good morning. By the way, my name is Moeketsi and I am your host today. Joined by me is my newly beautiful co-host, Miss Nosi. Nosi, by the way, I'll just let you, introduce yourself shortly to our people at home because she will be with us starting from today when it comes to Mzansi Affairs and letting people know at home what we're all about.
Hey, Moeketsi and everybody who's watching us. I love the fact that he says I'm beautiful.
Of course,
okay, enough about me blushing.
Yeah.
My name is Nosi Nkalweni, but you can call me Nosi. I believe I'm going to be with you on Mzansi Affairs every Tuesday, as he says. We're going to have a good time.
Indeed. A very warm welcome to you, Nosi. And by the way, while we're still on that, let me just, put Jabu in our call because, as we always go live, Jabu always, with us. He is one of the presenters who is here with us. Mr. Jabu. Mr. Jabu, hello.
Yes. Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
We are good. This is Mr. Jabu. He will be with us on the call. If you want to join the conversation, please, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, which is YouTube, Share Online, Facebook, Share Online, also Instagram and TikTok. Please do the right thing by following us on our social media platforms. So, Mr. Jabu, I just want to start with you, man. How is your morning so far, and how are things that side?
I can't complain more. Victoria is warm today. Nothing much. In traveling, I'm back here in Pretoria and to go. I'm happy, and that's it.
This side, man, I would say that, the weather is a little bit complicated because, it gets heated and then, at night, because we know that we are heading to June. So I think it's preparation, if I'm not mistaken, Nosi. Like, how are you finding, going to are you somebody who is in for winter or summer?
Definitely love winter. I'm a summer baby, born in summer, but I love winter.
Nice. Jabu, what about you?
I prefer summer, man. I think it's more lot of easier to do things in summer. You free. Winter, I think a lot of people hibernate. We're afraid of winter. We just go to work, come back indoors. And business-wise, it's quite low.
Yeah.
So I prefer summer.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to hear that because people have different preferences when it comes to the seasons that they love. But thank you for that, guys. So let us jump straight into our today's headlines, which is Mr. Ramaphosa last week officially signs the NHI bill, law into action. So as we know, yes, last week Tuesday we were discussing that he will be signing. On a Tuesday we discussed that on the next day, which is Wednesday, he will sign the law, in which is something we will be discussing with you guys. So please, ladies and gentlemen, just prepare your comment and tell us what you really think when it comes to the NHI bill. Together, me, Nosi, and Mr. Jabu will be discussing, the ins and outs of, what NHI is and the disadvantages of what it can bring to an average citizen. So please stay with us as we are going to a short break, and then when we come back, we will actually, get deep into it. My WhatsApp line is open, but only for voice notes. You can call me on 061-524-7758. It's 061-524-7758. And do not forget that we are also live on YouTube. Please do not forget to press the subscription button, the notification button, so that when we go live, you will be notified. Also on Facebook, follow us and leave down your comment and tell us what you think of today's headline. Also on Instagram and TikTok, please do the most. Right now, let us go on a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to go deep into our today's headlines. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still tuned into Mzansi Affairs together with me, Moeketsi, and Nosi, alongside Mr. Jabulani from Pretoria. Before the break, we actually discussed our today's headline, which is the NHI bill that was signed by Mr. Ramaphosa last week. So before we get deep into things, Nosi and Jabu, I just want to know from you guys, what was going on in your thoughts, when it comes to, this NHI thing going on for years and years until it was signed, last week, Wednesday, by the president. Let me start with you, Mr. Jabu.
Let me say good morning, Mo, and good morning, Nosi, and to our listeners and viewers. It's an interesting topic, to talk about because there was a lot going on behind. Now it's out there. People are interested to know what is it all about and NHI. So I think there are a lot to talk about. There are a lot of number of things that we can underline the advantage and disadvantage of this thing. I think I can combine.
Apologies about that. I think Mr. Jabu is having a little bit of a network problem, but while we're still fixing that, I will come to you, Ms. Nosi, and just to take me through, what was going on in your mind when you heard that the president is going to sign this NHI bill, and this NHI bill has been going on for a lot of long time.
Thank you so much, Mo, and greetings to our viewers and Mr. Jabu. Immediately, I thought prematurely. That's what came to my mind. I really did not think that they had given much thought to it. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying a lot of things could have been done to make it a smooth run, and the delivery, rather the timing of it also. That's one thing I also questioned, that why now? When we hear that it has been sitting with the president only in his table for 6 months, when it has been discussed previously in other years. But why now? And the fact that we still do not have answers to many questions also made me a bit skeptical about it. I think it should have been laid down, education should have been done, preparation should have been done, and at least I think we would have received it better and with a better understanding.
For an average citizen, they might be asking themselves at home, when it comes to, NHI, what is NHI and what does it do? Because we know most of the time in townships, people get often confused when it comes to these terms, because we want it to be, just be decoded and be explained. What does the bill do? So if you just join the live and you do not know what is the NHI bill, so the NHI bill, it's the National Health Insurance Bill. So what it does is that this bill in South Africa, it aims to ensure all citizens have access to quality healthcare services. As we have seen along the years, that people have been crying about the inequality in this country when it comes to healthcare services. So when the government came with this forward, people were asking themselves, what is this and how is this going to benefit us, as the citizens? So, Mr. Jabu, I think your network is okay. You were still saying something?
Yes, Mo, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yes, I think Nosi, she got a point. People are supposed to be educated and understand everything around it. And there is a lot quite of debate behind the curtains. But since the president signed it is done. So I think people need to know what's going on around it. And if we educate our people and understand, I think we're good to go. But that there are a lot of issues need to be underlined, especially when we look at the people that are in the rural areas. They will still be in disadvantage, So it seems like it's something that is going to benefit for the people that are in remote areas, that be able to access that private hospitals. If you are in the rural areas, we still have gonna be jam-packed in clinics, public hospital, poor services and everything. But there will be the money that coming from government and say it like we're trying to get equal health care,
I want to come, so that we can discuss this question, guys. So with me, I believe that everyone wants to come to an understanding of what really, does. So before I ask you guys in terms of what is your understanding when it comes to this NHI thing, let me just, tell what do I think it's all about, because as we have seen the differences and the gap between the poor people and the rich people in this country, I think it's trying to close that gap, that even though that in the beginning stage, a lot of people, will be highly impacted, by the negativities that it comes with. That we know that people who pay tax most of the time will be affected, because the tax rates will also increase for them. But now, for me, what I understand is that people who are paying tax, they are really a stepping stone, to having this better, quality healthcare services for all of the South Africans. So I understand that this NHI thing is really going to benefit people who, were having scarce, medical attention, So now I just want to ask you guys, what is your understanding of the NHI bill, and if you got something different when it comes to it? I will start with Nosi, and then I will come to you, Mr. Jabu.
More like I already said, I think I have mixed feelings about NHI. Let me break it down this way. It looks like it's a good initiative, right? I'm saying it looks that way because we still do not have all the nitty-gritties unpacked.
Yeah.
So from what we hear on overall, it's that it is to bridge the gap between the upper, middle, and the lower class, so that everybody has this universal healthcare coverage. A beautiful thing indeed, because if you look at the rights, at the rights that we have all as citizens of this country, we have a right to health, right? And we have been disadvantaged, most of us, because we could not afford medical aid. So here it comes, they say, if you are an NHI card holder, you can go to any hospital, private or public, you'll get the same equal services, right? Which does not mean you can walk in tomorrow immediately as you have it, because I trust that you'll be disappointed if you do that, which will also understand that there are all the other things that they still need to do in order to bring it to the people. It may take years. Beautiful as it sounds, but it also brings fear.
Yeah.
Why am I skeptical? If you hear the word fully funded by government, wouldn't you be skeptical in South Africa when we've already have a history of things that are fully funded, but you still find our people lacking the very same things that they were promised? If you look at the issue of education, how many people are benefiting from that? It is fully funded, supposedly. How many things are fully funded by our government, but are not reaching our people? I'm not even looking at the distance that Mr. Jabu talked about, that it is there available. It's just a matter of distance. That alone is an issue. But are we sure that it's not going to lapse? Are we not taking out from what exists only to leave people stranded? You see? So that's why I'm saying I have mixed feelings. It's a beautiful initiative, but it has too many questions around it. Is it another thing to say people must go and vote because now we've given them this? Or is it another initiative that will lapse along the way?
I mean, it makes sense because, we are 2 weeks away, from the election, and then things like this happen. But it's something for another day. So, Mr. Jabu, I just want to get your insights and your understanding of what this bill means to you.
I think that's why some people think that it's got a political agenda on it. It's time to vote. So the government tried to make a big move. That will shake people around the country. Because this is not pop and place. It's a big deal because if you look at it, it's a big issue when it comes to our government. Talking is cheap, but to implement, it's a problem. So we've got a fear that is it gonna work or not, and how it's gonna work, So signing it's another thing, and talking about it's another thing. But to implement, because if you can see it, our public hospital, they are not functioning. They were not functioning well, and they are under government. So now with this, now we need to combine it together and make it work. So it's a bit skeptical, as Nosa said. So, but what can we do? Is sometimes it's an advantage because if you can see the population, it's 85% of people that don't have medical aid, and only 15% in the country. So for people that have medical and healthcare, So, but everybody needs that, and we think if government go to that direction, we'll follow.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that, Mr. Jabu. Skeptical people are you skeptical wherever you are at home? Please, guys, do not forget to join our social media platforms right now and leave us down your comment and tell us what you think about the NHI bill signed into law by the president last week, Wednesday. On Share Online, we have a comment from Nolu saying, such informative show. Thank you, guys. We thank you about that, guys. So please do make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. It's Facebook, Share Online, Instagram, Share Online, TikTok, Share Online. Also, Instagram is Share Online. Right now, we are going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to discuss the phases, the phases that they were speaking about. Right here with me, I will take you through the phase 1 up until phase 3, that were actually highlighted back then. So please stay tuned as we go to an ad break, and then when we come back, we are going to discuss. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are still tuned into Mzansi Affairs with me, Moeketsi, alongside Ms. Nosi and Mr. Jabu, who is all the way in Pretoria right now. Before the break, we are still discussing our topic and our headline of the day, which is the NHI bill that was signed by the president last week, Wednesday. So we just want to get your insight and just tell us, what do you think in terms of what people are thinking outside? We have a comment from Mami K saying that signing of the bill was a bit mature. So I just want to ask from you guys, do you think the signing of the bill is immature? I will start with you, Mr. Jabu.
Yes, Mo, I think it was immature. I think they're supposed to do a survey around the people, go to the people, talk about this bill and let people understand what's going to happen around all the areas, actually. I mean, like from the ground there. And then we hear people what they think about this, and more special to taxpayers, because somewhere somehow. So I think it was immature and it was not given to people enough to talk to see something around it.
All right, thank you about that. I'm gonna come to you now, Ms. Nosi. Was it immature, to sign the bill?
Definitely. I think that's what I said in my opening statement. That's exactly what came to my mind immediately when I heard about it. Because there is a question that we need to ask. Do people know what it is? Do people know how is it going to benefit them, or what is it going to take away from them? Are they aware? Up to this point, we have not been told how is the government going to fund this, right? From the knowledge that we have, we know that currently the government gets from GDA and they are able, and they get from taxpayers. And if you look at how much they popping in onto the public sector, it's around about 1.8 billions, right? That's the money they give to the public sector. Let's look at where that money goes. 75% of that money goes to paying the workers. And 25% of that money goes to running the administration of these facilities. And we all know how our public facilities, how poor they are, because they are run with 25%. So if you are saying you want to run the entire health system, with what money? Where are you going to get it? We can only assume that that money is going to come from taxpayers, which means there will be an increase on the taxpayers. Do they know that? Are they aware? Are they in agreement? Are they prepared for that? So those are the things that I believe they were not looked into. Hence, they still cannot disclose where they're going to get this money, because it's going to come as a shock to everybody. So they went and ran and announced and made it into a law, knowing very well that there was a lot of groundwork that needed to be done. And they needed to also, because this is my other issue with this thing. If you ask an old goggle from next door, for an example, do they know what NHI is?
I don't think so.
Not at all. They don't know that this is a fund that could get money from the taxpayers that will buy you a card that will give you access to private hospitals or the hospitals that are near you, but you will still get the best care. They do not know anything about that because that education was not done. Like Mr. Jabu says, surveys were not done. Preparations were not done. We're going to be hit by this thing, which is why it creates a struggle in the argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to be hit at the end of the day by this thing that was pre-announced, sadly. Yeah, but let me end there.
Yeah, man, exactly, because the concerns of the citizens, it's actually, just the layout of the plans of this thing. How is it exactly going to work out? As much as people are asking and they're unsure of what the bill, if it was planned. In the media briefings, we have the ministers coming forward and telling people, about how good this is going to be for the country, to move forward, creating this one pool of health so that people can be equal and benefit from it, So Minister Joe Phaahla, when he spoke in the media briefing, he spoke, about that if you have a medical scheme, you are in a medical scheme right now, don't panic because they're still in, conversation and negotiations with people who are the leaders of the medical schemes, because they are speaking with them in terms of how we're gonna move, move forward together into making sure that the people benefit. He also mentioned that the government will tell them now if it's ready to tell their people that they can now, eradicate all of these medical schemes that they have. They also spoke about the security, of making sure that the funds and the money that will be used, to fund these public, healthcare services, as we have seen with that 500 billion that was misused during COVID time. People are still onto that, asking themselves that can we really trust the government when they are speaking about these things? Because when it comes to big funds, we know that they are
corruption.
Yes, a lot of corruption is happening, but they're telling us in the bill that corruption will be handled by the security that they have. So before the break, I actually told you that there were phases, that were given back then. So these phases are still there, and I'm just gonna read, just 2 lines of each phase on what they meant, because this thing has been going on for years and years, right? So in phase one started from 2012 up until, phase 1 is for 2012 up until 2017. So this one is focused on piloting health system strengthening initiative, establishing the NHI fund and key institutions, and moving central hospitals to the national sphere. I think these are the things that they were not actually discussing with the public, in which, whenever it comes right now, it becomes it's too much information, to process at one time. And then the phase 2 was from 2017 up until 2022, which is, it focuses on expanding primary healthcare services, improving quality care, and implementing health system reforms. These things are some of the things that we have never seen being implemented and being done in terms of making sure that these public health services are taken good care of. And then the last one was the phase 3, which was from 2022 up until 2026. It was focusing on implementing mandatory prepayment, expanding coverage, and improving quality care, which is something that is underway because right now we are in 2024 and phase 3 is 2022 to 2026, and then from 2026 that's where a lot of things will be implemented. So in terms of these phases, a lot of people are trying to still understand and process and take them in and understand what is it that is going on. But now I want to ask you guys, are you guys in medical schemes? Do you have a medical aid? And okay, do you have medical aid? Okay, Jabu, do you have one?
Unfortunately, I don't have one more. The things that you've been mentioning, it sounds great to my ears, and to everybody that is listening, our problem is implementation, when it comes to government, it's not only health issues or everywhere where there is government, when things are slow and they are good in promising people things, if it was to happen the way they say it, and they're gonna move it like that, it was gonna be a great initiative, to everybody, and people like us who don't have medical aid are more as I've mentioned before, that 85%, of our people, we don't have medical aids. It's only 15%. So it shows that there is a big gap. So closing that gap, of course, government has to intervene as they are trying. Our issue is because we don't trust them anymore. Where we come from, when it comes to health, a lot of stuff, unemployment. So it's a bit skeptical. But what can we do? We need to move on with them, and then we see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Do you have a medical aid?
No, I don't have a medical aid, which makes this an exciting initiative, but also like Mr. Jabo. I think it's all the fear of the unknown and the previous experience, basically.
Yeah,
but the initiative is good.
Yeah, because we have had a lot of people, who are in medical schemes, they just feel uneasy, with what is happening. It's like, okay, what is going to happen? Because I've been paying for this thing for, I don't know how many years up until right now. And then right now we just put in this, pool of health that we don't know where it's going to what is going to put us. So right now, because people are talking, I just want to show a video, guys, of this universal health insurance bill, a video of what people out there, think. So I just hope you guys can see my screen right now as I'm about to share it with you and play the video, and I hope also the sound will be heard. So I hope my technicals out there, they are actually making sure that you see what I am seeing right here. So let us go to the video.
It's a bill that's been 12 years in the making, and that could revolutionize the South African healthcare system.
It is a good thing because it will help poor people to get the good care of the healthcare.
In one of the world's most unequal societies, universal healthcare could save millions of lives.
If it does happen and it's successful and monies are managed properly and you're actually getting better healthcare to all those people in rural areas and those people even in our urban areas that don't have access, then I think it's okay.
Up until now, the country's healthcare was based on the private and public systems working in tandem. Up to 80% of the population relies on the public system for their care, although it's dramatically underfunded and understaffed. The legislation will gradually limit the role of private insurance, create a new public fund to provide free access for South African citizens, and cap the fees private doctors can charge to patients. But some are skeptical. They've been disappointed by the public sector before.
If you look at all of our state-run enterprises, they just don't work. I think there's too much corruption within the ANC. If we look at the history of the ANC and the SAA, ESCOM, it won't work.
Given the country's low economic growth, the opposition fears the bill could cause the already overburdened public health system to collapse.
Democratic Alliance will, upon its signing into law by Cyril Ramaphosa, challenge the ANC's NHI all the way to the Constitutional Court and will file our legal challenge against this devastating legislation without delay.
The bill, which should be implemented in stages at a cost of billions of euros, is expected to be a major talking point in the country's upcoming elections on May 29th.
Indeed. That is what people have to say out there when it comes to the NHI. People are having concerns, in what the ANC government has done, over the years, up until now. This is a big promise when it comes to health. But now, when it comes to electricity, have they been providing the services for the people and the citizens of South Africa when it comes to education? The country itself, when it comes to the structure and the system, it seems lacking. What is it that makes them to take this big step, into, thinking that they're sure that when it comes to healthcare, they will literally, provide, everyone with equal healthcare? So people mention, when it comes that ANC has been misusing the funds and they have not, shown good leadership. So what, in terms of concerned citizens, like what is it that you would really like to, just add, when it comes to your opinion when it comes to this?
More. I don't want us to sit here and look like we are bashing those that are in power, but the truth speaks for itself. Because even when the government got involved, when we say the government, we'll speak of the ANC because they are the ones that are in power and holding the reins. If you look at when they got involved with SAA, there was a time when SAA got closed and people lost their jobs, sadly. And my cousin brother was one of the people that were working there. You look at wherever they've put their hands in, there's always been some form of corruption. So it's almost as if they're making this initiative and taking these decisions that sounds all glamorous and all good and are things that we're yearning for, that we truly need in order to yank us because they know our need. But they're never sustainable because they're always taking for themselves, you know. It is a concern, but I would say everybody needs to be taken care of better when it comes to health. Everybody needs to walk into a hospital and be attended like the other person who stays in Sandton, for an example, and owns a medical aid. It is said that other people lost their lives before it was even time for them to go because they were not attended in places that have full facilities in order to take care of them. And for that reason, they lost their lives. If you go to our public sectors, ICUs, they're always full. You'll be told that your person cannot get a bed for up until a certain time. And if you go to for an example, if you walk to Jabulani now, you'll find people that have been at the casualty area for 7 days waiting for a bed to be attended. That's the reality of things. Do we say we do not want this in order to help those people? Not at all. We want this to happen. We are advocating for NHI to happen in order to take off the pressure from the public hospitals and split the responsibilities. But do we trust that it's in the right hands? That is the question, and that will remain the question until they prove otherwise, sadly. And another thing that I want to get to, it sounds like the guys that are in medical schemes or the guys that are in the health business side of things, it sounds like they are in disagreement. But I do not believe that they are in disagreement. If you heard Mr. Jabu said it's only 15% of people that have medical aid. Imagine if everybody had an NHI card. Does that not mean they will have more patients and have more money that's coming from the government into their pockets? It means that. But are they to sit back and say, we are going to give away our 15% on something that we do not trust, that has not been proven? And when we look at the history of this country, where the political party that is in power had been handling things, has failed us. So do we let go of the 15% in hope of the 100% only to lose out completely? You know what I mean? So I think that will always remain our fear, the fear of the unknown, because of the past, you know, because of the record that is before us. When you want to know if something works better, you always look at the reference. They have not given us enough reference to say they are the good people to handle this thing at all as good as it is.
Thank you so much for your insight. Mr. Jabu, I will give you an opportunity to give your insight after when we come back to our short break. So ladies and gentlemen, please do go on our social media platforms, like the live. Also comment down below and tell us what you really think when it comes to the NHI bill that was signed by Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa last week. Is it something that you are benefiting from, or is it something that is taking from you? My WhatsApp line for voice notes is open. It's 061-524-7758. 061-524-7758. On Instagram is Share Online. Also Facebook, Share Online. Also on TikTok is also Share Online. Please stay tuned as we are coming back to discuss more of this NHI bill. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still watching Mzansi Affairs with me, Moeketsi, my man, joined by Nosi and Mr. Jabu, all the way from Pretoria. And if you just tuned in, please do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, which is Share Online everywhere. Before the break, we were still discussing, the insights of what you really think about this NHI bill. Is it something that is premature? And we just played a short video where people were actually stating their insights and their concerns about this NHI. So right now, I would like to pass to Mr. Jabu, in terms of, his insight and what he really thinks, and what is it that should be done, So Mr. Jabu, can you please just, give us a short insight of what we have been talking about?
Yes, Mo. I think reference is something important. Nosi was talking about. We're supposed to see improvement from our clinics, public hospitals. To show that our government really care about our health issues. Improve it from there and to try to give us quality, even if we say it's public. Before we come to this bill and to link with the private sectors and all that. But if they say we're going to have a better and quality of our healthcare, and then we need to trust them with the funds and all the implementations and everything. It's something that I'll say that people they're a bit skeptical because of they run their things on the past, So, but nothing we can do because the bill has been signed up to so far. We can blame, but we're looking forward to see how it's gonna run. But the other thing to add on that is, if we employ right people that care about the poor people and the citizens of South Africa, they can represent us well and make sure that the funds are allocated to right places, to right people, at the right time. And if you look of those people that are maybe sound like they're complaining, the medical aid holders, it's all about that, government system failing people when it comes to payments, everywhere where there were tenders and everything. People are still complaining about the payments, They might thinking that it can slow down the pace. They can be billions of rands, Government says that we will pay, if they don't get their things right. Our government, how it works. So there is a lot of debate and issues that are underlying under all these things. But let's hope for the best.
I mean, what you are speaking about, it also adds on, what the people are speaking about in terms of the business, of the business side of the, this healthcare services, because the JSE also, shared what, would be the prediction of the stock markets. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange, they actually shared the insights of what, effect this is going to have on our country's economy, because Tuesday on May 14th, 2024, the Monday's price range of the ZAC 11,500, and then ZAC again comes and said 11,759. It actually marked, a substantial rise from 10,748. It was a price that was observed, at the close of trading last Tuesday. So there are a lot of things that are discussed, the depth of what this is going to do to the economy of the country. But now, it's very important to let people know, because somebody who's watching right now, they're trying to understand what is it that we're speaking about. So I want to share something with you that I actually came across, right? As we know that our phones are filled with this Meta AI, artificial intelligence. So this thing also collects information and gives us the answers that we want. So someone decided to ask AI about the NHI. So the question was, please explain to me in pop culture terms, what is the National Health Insurance Bill in South Africa means? So this is what AI answered. They said, the AI answered and said, think of National Health Insurance, the NHI bill, like a universal health care and Netflix subscription for South Africa, right? So just like how Netflix, offers access to a vast library of shows, movies for a monthly fee, the NHI aims to provide a comprehensive healthcare coverage to all South African citizens and permanent residents for a single affordable subscription through taxes and contribution. So it is said that from being having public and private, from having that, paying this side and not paying this side, right now we are going to be offered as services based on what we have been told what to pay. So the money will be funded by the taxes of people. That's what they say. So in terms of what we call the channel lineup, everyone gets access to a wide range of healthcare services, including doctor visits, hospital stays, medicines, more, and also more. No more worrying about medical bills or choosing between treatment and financial ruins. That is what the AI said. So now the people also come and respond, because always people are going to respond to, what this thing says. So the other guy commented and said, yep, it also means that you will pay double your tax to cover the ones that are not working and buy bread ka 100 rand. So, and then the other guy said, giving the whole healthcare system to ANC is not a good idea. They even failed to run NSFAS, Transnet, Eskom, and etc. So, them taking a big decision of saying, we are going to take the healthcare services into our hands and provide to the citizen of the country. It's a bold move for them. Hence, people are concerned. But to me, I'm like, I want to see positivity in this, because as much as somebody can make, they can sin as much as they can, but there's that room for improvement for them, in which is where I actually fall. So I just want to know from you guys, when it comes to this, huge move, are they making it for votes, or is it something that is genuine?
Do you truly want my honest opinion in this one? We are live, Mo. But to be sure, what a sport. But anyway, I did think that this was a plot to get people to vote for ANC because they see that they have had other parties that are on the rise that are challenging them. So they needed something big, something that will mean something to people other than the other things that they've been saying over and over in the years. And yes, this was a bold move. And yes, this could make people look at them again as the party that cares for the people. Plus, it has been made into law, the bill. So if something becomes a law, it means it's irreversible. But also, I think they knew that it is still going to be challenged by parties like the DA, like the EFF, like BUSA, which is the business part of the medical side of things. And if it is challenged and these other guys win, it could be taken back and not be made into a law. But wouldn't we have voted by then when all this goes to court? So it could be a win-win situation for them if that was the plan for them. But I will sit here with you and hope that that is not what they had in mind. That let's say they're knowing very well that we're going to be challenged because of how we have not eye on this plan out. And when we are then challenged, then it's not on us. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping that they do not think us naive to that point. I'm just hoping that they're in it for the people for real. But I'm also hoping that they're going to go back to the drawing board and fix every leak there is. And it should start, like Mr. Jabu said, with our public hospitals.
Yeah.
If they're ever going to show us anything good. Look, I heard Mr. Jabu speak of if we employ people that are excited and care about the health of the people truly. I do not believe most people went into that direction without caring. I believe they came in caring. But because of the lack of resources, they've gone weary. They've gone tired themselves. They're not even paid what is equivalent to the private sector. So, and they're expected to work magic with nothing. They literally have nothing, these guys. You could go there, they would not be able to print you a script. They would literally write it by a pen and say, go to the pharmacy. And when you get to the pharmacy, there's certain meds that you're not going to get because they're not there.
Yeah.
And they can't provide them because they have not been given enough to provide these resources. So they go weary, they go tired, and they work longer hours, and they are sent from one point to another. You know what I mean? Because they're not enough, they're short staff. So I think if they needed to fix, they should have started there and clean up that mess there. Because if you look at it, that is the department that is handled by them. Before they could even say, we want to partake on the private sector, which looks clean, which they attend a minimum number of people, they already always have overflowing beds, like empty beds, when the other side has overflowing beds. Why not clean up your own house first before you can move to another, and just in good faith, so that we can trust that you know what you are doing, and we can trust in you that you will be able to handle this big move.
I mean, it speaks to the ignorance that one will have in terms of making sure that their space is clean and it is well taken care of. So I just need to ignore some of the things that people say and actually do what needs to be done. When it comes to history, it's something that can be discussed over time. So right now I'm gonna pass over to you, Mr. Jabu, and just tell me, in terms, what do you think, man? Is this thing done for votes, or it is done in the genuine of a human being and wanting this country to strive, whereby people, have this one pool of healthcare service?
If it was a game of chess, I would say that was a checkmate for ANC. I mean, like, they were not to say that we're bashing our ANC. We love them. They take us to freedom. That's why we have a platform like this to say something, at the end of the day. But you know what? They were feeling pressure. There was nothing to talk about around them, except critics, from people, So they have to take that big step and big move. They didn't even look at it in deeper way to say that, hey, what's going to happen tomorrow, If you can check, it's been sitting there in Ramaphosa's table 6 months or many days and a lot of time, but he was not signing it, because he was waiting closer to voting, and sign that bill. So now we're sitting here, we're discussing about that. We want to know, we want answers, we want all that. So at the end of the day, it's something to think about. If we vote for a new government to come in, what's going to happen about this? Then if ANC remain, we're going to benefit, So it's all that debate at the end of the day. But around it, I think it's got a political agenda in it, But it's a good move for poor people if it's gonna have people that's gonna run it right. So I don't know if our government do have those people that can run it right, So that's our fear here. And there is a lot of questions around it, but we will stick and root our eyes to it and see what's going to happen. And the other thing is, Nosi was saying something that you need to start in your house. You clean your house, a little bit faith to us, They're supposed to start maybe province by province improving. those healthcare systems and make sure that it's running smoothly. If you go to public hospital now, you can go and try to get medication, and they will tell you straight that we don't have that kind of medication. So it means you go and consult nothing at the end of the day, and you need to buy those medications and all that. So what's really happening there? It's making people to be sensitive, And at the other hand, we have people that saying text, which is like, people, they feel like they're going to be pressed with this thing. So it keeps this bill in a debate again. If you are a taxpayer, if you're a taxpayer, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow around you if you need to pay for other people that are not working, something like that, So it's sensitive. So we are still debating, but it's already signed. We debating, it's already signed. That's why I was saying that if there were surveys and everything, and then we get more information, and then we talk about it, and then until we put it there. So it's been signed. So I think it's got a political agenda. So we will move with it, and then we'll see what's going to happen more.
I mean, thank you about that, Mr. Jabu. Speaking about political agenda, in the previous video that we played, Mr. John Oosthuizen, the leader of the DA, he spoke about, taking this and contesting this bill on court. They are literally fighting what the ANC is trying to do, because we have seen how, they did not take care of the public services as they were supposed to do. Right now, what is it that makes them think, that they will take care of them? But right here with me, I just wanna, take you through a section of the bill, what is actually talking about, because the Citizen they have posted, something that has to do with the section 33 of the bill, which it reads like, I hope you guys are seeing there on my screen. I just shared my screen and it is highlighted. So according to the section 33 of the bill, medical schemes will only be able to offer complimentary coverage for services not reimbursed by the NHI once it is implemented. And then while section 6(o) will allow individuals to buy services not covered by the NHI through voluntary medical insurance scheme. So what I'm getting from this is that private healthcare services will still be available, but now where their availability would not attract so many customers and people who want proper health, because now they have created this thing that this healthcare will be affordable for everyone. And then for them, what does it mean? Because the reason we have private is because of the scarcity, right? Yes. Of the medicine in the public, services. So for them, it's like they spent a lot of money to get and make sure that people are provided with the right medicine. So with the funds that people are actually speaking about, it's like, will you guys be able to cover most of the things that we actually dealing with? Because in the private sector also has its own problems that they're still dealing with. So what makes you think, while you are still failing in the public service, what makes you think that you can take these two, combine them and make them one thing? It's something that we are still trying to understand. Please join us on the conversation and tell us what do you really think in terms of the NHI bill that was signed by the president last week Wednesday. On TikTok, please do the most by following us and tap on the screen, share your comment. We see you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining, and please stay tuned for more NHI NHI news that was signed by the president. And we just want to hear from you. What do you really think about it? And what do medical schemes actually think about this? Facebook share online, TikTok share online, Instagram is also share online. Please, my WhatsApp line is open for voice notes, 061-524-7758, 061-524-7758. All right, now we're going to on a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss more of this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still watching Mzansi Affairs with Moeketsi alongside Mrs. Nosi and Mr. Jabu, all the way from Pretoria, discussing our today's headlines, which is the NHI that was signed into law by the president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. We are still discussing, the ins and outs of what does this mean for the country and for each and every citizen who is concerned with what is going on in the healthcare services. So please, guys, join our conversation on every social media platform, which is share online on YouTube, share online on Facebook, share online on Instagram, also on the TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, do the most by following us and liking the video on TikTok. Right now, we are in our steps of conclusion, and please stay tuned as we are going to discuss, the effect that this is going to have on our country's economy, because one thing that the citizens concerned about is the economy and what does it mean for the country's economy, right? Right here with you, I'm just gonna share, a short paragraph, which is also from the Citizen. Let me share a screen with you and a highlighted paragraph that speaks, about the shares and everything that has to do. So the NHI, as incorporated in the Act, is really an investment in the healthcare of the country's citizens. The president signed the NHI Act into law last week, and medical scheme provider shares fell by 8%, briefly making people wonder if the act is also an investment issue. So these are some of the things that are starting to, scare people in terms of what is going on with the economy. We know that these private investors, they bring a lot of change into our economy, and it's not only change but radical changes that we see in terms of improving the healthcare services in South Africa. So we are seeing that our economy, is thriving and is becoming, in critical phases, so we are seeing something that is going to crumble the healthcare services, and then in the hopes of bringing it back as something that is new and reformed. So can we dive deep into the effect that this has in our economy?
More, this actually, if done right, we're going to keep using that word for, like I said, because of the past. If it would be done right, our economy would improve. But if we're looking at history and what other people know us to be, the people that are actually outside investors into our country, those are the people that we need most, but those are the people that we would likely lose. Why am I saying that? If you put in your money into something, you're hoping to get something out of it. You know what I mean? Because it's business at the end of the day. But if somebody who is in power now, in charge of the place where you were investing, has had too many failed attempts, you would also not want to put your money there, because when it crumbles, it will fail with your money in it. Then you get nothing out of it. A wise business decision would be to pull back or to hold your money. That's the risk we are facing as the country in terms of our economy. But if it was done, it would be done right. We also at the opportunity to improve. Why am I saying that? I am saying this because the people that are actually currently have medical aids, they will then pay less. And then they pay less on the medical aid, but there will be an increase on the tax side of things, which will then boost our country's economy, right? And also, there was the big monies that are spent in taking care of the private sector. Now that money could be split or taken into something else, because they would now have a balance. You know what I mean? As opposed to going to a public hospital and staying there for 9 hours before you are attended, you would be at an advantage of going to a nearest private hospital and be attended the same and get in and out. So they will split the responsibilities, which then mean the private sector would not need so much money anymore, as the responsibilities will be split, and they could save what they're currently using. And it could go back to something else that will boost our economy. But with the history that we have currently, we could lose investors. I think this is why organizations like BUSA are opposing this, that on the business side of things, you have a potential to kill us as a country. And another thing is, if you're looking at poor guys, the guys at our finances, they now have to figure out where are these monies going to come from for all these free things that are promised. They're still struggling to fully fund everybody for education. Now they must struggle to find money to fully fund everybody for a medical, for the NHI fund that is promised. If you look at government, right? Government hospital or government workers, let me just say government workers, especially the one that are in the health sector, they have their own medical aid, which is GEMS, which is fully subsidized. What's the term? I forgot now the term. But they get some of the money paid to that medical aid by the government, and then they pay a certain fee to add on that. They have medical aids, which they are not using in their own hospitals because they cannot get the services that they want. So they go to the private sectors as well and boost their economy, that they boost, the money ends up going to that other side. So the private sector has a lot of money that is sitting on, that they could easily share to the side that will boost our economy. But who's in power? Are they going to be able to handle those resources well? So it always goes back to that one. We are going to lose investors if we're looking at history.
I mean, stated the way it needs to be stated. Thank you for that. So right here we have Osegefo Mazwayi, an investment strategist at Investec Wealth and Investment. He says that it is our view that the NHI Act will be challenged in court. There are multiple concerns, including the quality of the legislation, the constitutionality of the Act, and the processes followed during the adoption of the bill. I'm guessing that, and saying that a lot of things that were actually put into this bill, they actually challenge and discriminate what the private sectors have for now. Before I go to you, Mr. Jabu, we have a comment from Poncho Ngwenya. Saying, you mean this thing has already been signed into law? It has, my friend. Last week, Wednesday, the president was joking around saying, I can't find my pen. Eventually, he found his pen and he signed it into law. So we are looking at the NHI, being into law, starting from now on up until. So, Mr. Jabu, I would like to come to you right now, in terms of discussing the effects that this bill will have on our economy. I just want to hear your insights, on when it comes to our country's economy and everything that has to do with economy with this bill.
Yeah, sorry more that I've been down. I hope I didn't miss much, but I will say that when it comes to economy and investors, of course, people, they want to invest where there's trust, where there is something that is, they know that they will benefit at the end of the day. So with the history of our government, I think we're going to lose a lot of investors. And if we go deep into this conversation, I can tell that there's still debate around it. We might have this dropped after the elections. It can be something that can go to court and be relooked, when I listen carefully and what's happening around this. So it's been signed, is there, but there are a lot of questions. And once investors start to question these kind of things, and a lot of people, they don't understand what's happening around it, it's gonna go back to the table after election. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what I want it to happen, but it sounds like that because it's something that is sound crazy to other people, and people are really scared. More especially, they don't have confidence in our government, and that it will shake our economy as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that, man, because the debates are still on and people are still wondering what is it that is going to happen and what future does it give to the South African citizens when it comes to this NHI bill, because they believe that a country strives more with people who are more healthier to work, as a country strives with people who are ready for work and do the things according to, what the bill is saying. So the NHI bill signing concludes 5 years of heated debate and public hearing since introduction in 2019. So this law strives for universal healthcare coverage with a focus on aiding millions of underprivileged South Africans, the elderly, and the veterans. Speaking of the veterans are still complaining that even though that the government promised them to give their pensions, when they resign or come back from war, wherever they are, because it is stated that if you are a veteran, there are some of the benefits you're going to get from government. So there are some of the things that, this NHI thing, it looks like a glamorized thing. It's glamorized how nice it looks, on paper. It's like, we're just going to get medical assistance, man. For at last, I will go into Netcare and get my braces done. I will get, so... But now the bottom line is that people, they don't look at what has not been done. right now it is an opportunity for them to say, please give us a chance. We would like to apologize for what happened in the COVID, era. Guys, 500 billion is a lot of money.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So we are here again, and 2 weeks from the national elections, people are standing and there are debates before elections. So it's like there's a little focus that is being shifted. It's like it's distracting people on focusing on the actual thing, because it puts people to desperation. People are panicking. If I don't vote for the ANC, this NHI thing, that means I will have to continue to pay. So I think it is the strategic thing that is put, but we're just hoping it is not. So guys, in closing, I would like to hear you guys, what is it that you would like to see happening?
More, I'd like our government to sweep its own house first before they can take any further steps. Until the day I see our politicians attended in a public hospital, spending nights there being operated and coming out cured. That's the day I would say they have swept their houses. Until I see a government employee using their medical aid, which they subsidized for, in a government facility, that is the day I would say they have swept their houses. Until they do that, to me, they would not say they have proven that they can be trusted with much bigger tasks, unfortunately. And that is my closing statement.
Thank you so much for that. Mr. Jabu, I'm going to hand it over to you, sir.
I think we need to go to the basis. Government need to start in public hospital to do better and make sure that the system is working accordingly. Make sure that there are medications, there are enough staffs, all that. Give our people confidence that even if we said we're going to public hospital, it will be equal health care to private, and then train their staff more, to give that edge, that feeling that people get in private sectors, because if you can tell when you go to public hospital, the entrance, the careness, how people get help, it's not the same with private. So if we started there at the basics to train our staff, our nurses and our doctors to understand, even if it's a public hospital, people need to be treated equally, it will be better, So once we're done with that, I think we can move more to participate in the other side. We can link it together. It's a good initiative for poor people that are not doing well. Like us who don't have medical aid, who will need that best quality healthcare. So, if government employ right people and make sure that the funds are allocated well to right people and right direction, I think we can win it, and then it can be history in the making. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you so much for those wise words, Mr. Jabu. And I hope everyone at home really listens and they actually take this and, reconsider, think deep about it. Ladies and gentlemen, because you know that we're all about informing and entertaining. So right now, I'm just going to ask my technicals if the video is ready, because the public, they have went out. We know that South Africa is nothing without TikTok. So we will just want to share a little of what we have seen in the TikToks when it comes to this NHI bill, because we believe that the South Africans, when it comes to entertainment, they do not disappoint. So right now, let us just head on the video and then we hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah. So I think we're just gonna play that again for people who didn't see. We had a little bit of a technical issue, so I'm just gonna hand it over to my technicals. All right. I hope everyone saw that and enjoyed that. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Mzansi Affairs. Please do not forget that we will also be live again next week, Tuesday, same time, same place, right here, together with Mr. Jabu and Ms. Nosi.
Yes.
By the way, my name is Moeketsi, and thank you so much for tuning with us and staying with us until the end. We hope that you guys take care of yourself and have the rest of your beautiful day. Thank you so much. We will see you next week, Tuesday.
Definitely.